Hi, Mike Kennedy, M005 Kennedy with you. We're doing a little minimalist ham radio again here. We're hoping to log onto the emergency net that they have. They have a practice net. What's a net? A net is a structured way of communicating. Now in this case I am going to use a microphone so I can hold the antenna outside of the car, so I will receive signals better. Should be starting up just in a minute. A net has a net operator. People will check in, and it's a very reliable way of communicating, transferring information, functioning as a group. So the idea is that this emergency group, which has been deployed in many emergencies in Maine, can practice. And also they have a little training on here too as well.
This is K1GAX. Does anyone need to use the repeater prior to the opening of the Cumberland County emergency net?
There he's just called to see if the frequency is empty, which it is.
Hearing no stations calling the Cumberland County emergency net. This is K1GAX. My name is Bryce, and I'm located in Portland. I will be your net control station for the session of the Cumberland County emergency net. This is a directed net. This net meets each Sunday evening at 19:30 hours local time on this repeater. The net is associated with the Amateur Radio Emergency Service and the Radio Amateur Civil Emergency Service. The net welcomes all check-ins, whether Aries, Races, CERT members, or not. At this time, are there any stations with emergency or priority traffic? Please give your call sign, name, location, and list your traffic.
He's checking for people with emergencies first, which normally on a net like this there won't be any emergencies.
Hearing none, are there any stations with bulletins or announcements for the net? Please give your call sign, name, location, and list your bulletins or announcements.
We'll see if there's a bulletin or announcement. There should be an announcement.
Hearing no stations, are there any mobile stations to check in? Please give your call sign, name, and location.
KB1IUI in Gorham, Mike. Okay.
And this is K1GAX, recognize KB1IUI. And as your mobile, we'll see if you have any comments for the net in case you get to your destination before we get to that phase.
No comments other than I'm getting back into amateur radio. I've been gone for a while, so I'm coming back. KB1IUI.
Very good. And now, are there any stations operating on emergency power for check-in? Please give your call sign, name, and location.
I see that.
MX1C, George, in Portland.
This is all being done with.
This. N1, NCC, Steve, in Standish.
That's someone the next town to over. Now these signals are all going to.
This is K1GAX, recognize NX1C and N1NCC. I believe there was another station, but you weren't making the repeater. You were bringing it up, but no audio. You were all noise.
See, the idea is this will reach the repeater, it picks it up and
Station not
rebroadcasts
heard.
it.
At this time, I will take general check-ins. Please give your call sign, name, and location.
K1JJS, John in Freeport.
This is K1GAX. Recognize K1JJS. I think we do have a little bit of a lift on tonight. And are there any additional general check-ins? Please give your call sign, name, and location.
This is KD1 OMD, Ross in South Portland.
Two at once.
This is N1KTA, Tom in Portland.
That was,
This is K1GAX. Recognize KB10ND and N1KTA. And a couple of announcements this evening. Firstly, the next meeting of Cumberland County Aries Races Circ will be held this coming Tuesday, August 19th, at the Cumberland County EMA facility, 22 High Street in Wyndham. And that will be at 6:30 p.m. And the program is alerting and activation. And we are looking for a net control station for this net. Mike Gilmartin, N1GRO, after many years of service to the net, has resigned as a net control station. The net format is scripted, and the net control station, a net control station could expect to call the net every 4 weeks. If you are interested in becoming a net control station for this net, please contact me by email to k1gax@juno.com. And that does conclude the announcements for the evening. This is K1GAX with the Cumberland County Emergency Net. Do we have any additional stations to join the net? Please give your call sign, name, and location.
just noise again.
Well, whoever is there, you're just not making the repeater at all. Just a carrier and a lot of noise. K1GAX. And we will move into the training portion of the net this evening, and this is titled Preparations, Training and Orientation. Remember that the number one objective by anyone involved in amateur radio emergency communications is to forward the message or messages to its final destination. Just remember the mantra, move the message forward. You'll need it when you're totally exhausted and can't think clearly. The mission is to use any available communications technique to forward the message to its final destination, whether it's via regular telephone, fax, amateur radio, CB, GMRS, FRS, MERS, cell phone, bicycles, carrier pigeons, signaling mirrors, flares or smoke signals. The method is immaterial. What counts is that the message get delivered in usable form to the recipient in a timely and accurate fashion that the recipient can take action on. At no time should anyone be put in a situation that endangers that person or people nearby. Once an emergency situation arises, you will be shifting from a normal day-to-day operations to an emergency emergency operation. It may take from 30 minutes to 3 hours to get people and equipment to the right locations to assemble and test the stations and begin operations. In a matter of minutes, you must create a new environment where none has previously existed, and chances are it won't happen on its own. Recognize and accept this reality. Do not depend on someone else when instead you can do your own preparations. Now is the time to prepare personally for emergency and disaster situations. That is, when there is time to think it through, purchase what you need with no lines at the store, and assemble things into kits and checklists. Your single most important item in the field is fresh water. Other beverages such as coffee or soda that will dehydrate you should be avoided. There is much written about the topic of personal emergency preparedness, so further discussions will be deferred. Now is the time to read about and learn practical skills such as CPR and first aid instead of watching a sitcom on TV. Now is the time to learn how our served agencies operate. Now is the time to take an amateur radio emergency communication certification course. Most of the training is free. Take advantage of the training before an emergency happens. If you want to experiment with a new communications technique or method, test it before you have a major exercise or event. You don't need more frustration or embarrassment. So why compound that chance when the stakes are higher? Don't worry about being distracted about the condition of someone else's equipment and operational readiness. Since you're already at your site or heading to your assignment or evacuation shelter, focus on your situation first. Then deal with other situations as conditions permit. The better your preparations and the faster you arrive at your destination, the faster you will handle your immediate situation. If you have safeguarded your personal records and key belongings in off-site locations, such as a safety deposit box, your equipment is already substantially packaged. You have a checklist made to include the last-minute items and a checklist for setting up operations. You've substantially increased your chances of attaining success within this time period. Remember that nothing is supposed to go right in a real emergency. Do not wait for someone else to do your preparations. You make it happen. You provide for your education and results. And you make it go right. Once you've learned the basics, try to get as much experience by practicing in exercises and other on-air group simulations. One cannot anticipate all the possible problems that you can come across in the field or on the air during such a spontaneous event. By engaging in on-the-air activities, you practice problem-solving skills while simultaneously advancing the mission of advancing communications. Don't be overly concerned with the problem solving during the exercise. What's important is that you experience and learn to cope with fielding multiple and unexpected situations, which will help you in future activities. Practice your radio operator skills, message handling, and net control skills If you, if you want to work out your butterflies, the butterflies in your stomach ahead of time, in a comfortable and safe environment, such as an afternoon or evening nap, or on simplex with a couple of your friends. Practice being efficient with your time and use use of other people's time, like cutting out excessive chatter and getting immediately to the point. Because during an emergency, time on a radio channel is of the essence. Make your transmissions sound crisp and professional, like the police and fire radio dispatchers and air traffic controllers. Do not use any more transmission time on the radio than absolutely necessary. Guess what? Someone is waiting to use that channel. That's why frequencies are busy and congested during an emergency. I know you don't like it when someone is hogging the channel when you need it, so you should be considerate and reciprocate similarly and keep your time on the air short. Message handling also means knowing how to find the most available and efficient route to send formal or tactical messages between different frequencies and nets. Spend time to practice and acquire that skill. To the extent possible, establish a receive frequency that you will monitor, and then announce the monitored frequencies on other nets. Various agencies and nets need to cooperate and encourage sending stations to switch to the appropriate monitored frequencies and call for the receiving stations. If the use of the frequency or the net is directed, get an acknowledgement and permission from the net control station before calling the receiving station. As an operator, your training is complete when you can train another person to be a trainer. The reason? During an emergency, people expect people to walk on to the project that were not previously trained. So you need to be comfortable training others on the job. You can use this list as a starting point. That'll cut down on time to train and learn. Ultimately, you want your trained students in time to be able to train others. Not everyone is capable or inclined to do this, but for those who can, it is a worthy art. And that does conclude the training for the evening. This is K1GAX with the Cumberland County Emergency Net. Do we have any other stations to join the net? Please give. None. Are there any stations with additional comments or business for the net prior to net closure?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
KB1IUI, could you repeat the start time of the meeting you said that was Tuesday at the shelter there?
Yep, that is 6:30 in the evening.
Thank you very much, KB1IUI.
And do we have any other stations with additional comments or business for the net prior to net closure? Hearing none, this is K1GAX closing the Cumberland County Emergency Net. As of 19:57 hours local time, I would like to thank all stations for their check-in this evening and for their participation and interest in emergency communications. The net is closed and the repeater is returned to normal operation. This is K1GAX. Good evening.
So there you've heard it. So there you've heard a small part of the net, just to show you how it operates. The net is an efficient means of transferring information. If there were a real emergency, they would set up these nets, and there would be people located at different areas, like at emergency shelters and things like that, and it would provide an efficient means of communication when all other means of communications are down. And that can be the case. People think that cell phones will always be there, but the fact is, during emergencies, these cell towers can become overloaded, and you may not be able to use your cell phone as well. So emergency radio communications is very important. Mike Kennedy saying have a good night.